Hello and welcome. Hey, Kamphey, how are you?
Hi.
Hello and welcome everyone for another Indie MBA session. This is where we get experts and indie hackers and we get wizards to come and share their wisdom with us. Today we have Andrew Kamphey with us. He's a Google Sheets wizard. You look at his Twitter, look at his email, look at his website. It's all Google Sheet. It's not even MS Excel. I love how focused his approach is, and because of his focus, he's been able to make like 100K in revenue over the last 2 years, just building products and services around Google Sheets. Which this is incredible, right? This is not something that I would have ever imagined somebody would be able to do. And thank you, Andrew, for taking out time and being
Thanks
with
for
us.
having me. I'm just happy to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here. This is such a great thing. Like we just discussed this a couple of days ago, and today we're here doing this. Right? It's so much fun.
Yeah. The power of doing instead of
Yes,
waiting 2 weeks.
yes, the power of taking action. So
Look,
Andrew,
my bearded fellows are showing up. Almost
nice,
bearded.
nice. I just shaved like 30 minutes ago.
Don't.
I wanted to balance
Go
this
get
out.
that hair back. Put it back on.
Oh yeah, of course. Right. Right, my first question would be to you, right? How did Google Sheets happen to you, or should I reframe it? Like, how did Andrew Kamphey happen to Google Sheets? How did this all get started?
Yeah,
Uh,
spoiler alert, you sort of answered the question. I didn't choose Google Sheets. Google Sheets chose me.
uh, yeah. How do you come to get started on this? Like everyone uses Google Sheets, but like nobody thinks of building a business around Google Sheets. How did it happen?
Yeah, God, there's like such a long story here. I'll try
Yeah.
to make it quick, but basically I was working on cruise ships of all things, and we were using Microsoft Excel. And because I was lazy, I learned how to do Excel VBA, which was a
Wow.
coding language with inside of
Yeah.
Excel. I learned that to do things that I was like, I really don't want to do this thing like every single day. So I learned Excel VBA. And I did that for a couple of years. Then when I left ships and I went to work in Los Angeles, after like a horrible year and a half of just like getting nothing, like no job, not like it was really tough in LA. I ended up getting a full-time job as a PA, a production assistant. It's like the lowest job you can ever get in like any TV station network. And it was like a startup slash television network.
Nice.
And they had already been rocking and rolling for about 6 months. It was a startup, very, very new, but there was like about 6 people that worked there for about 6 months. And then literally on one day, like 20 people were hired, including myself. So I came in sort of this second bunch of people. And there was a woman the entire company was using Google Sheets. And this is like a normal thing in Hollywood production facilities. It's like everybody just used Google Sheets. And there was this woman who was like complaining about many people using this Google Sheet. So like in the sort of after work, after the day was done, I stayed because I didn't like LA traffic. So I waited for the traffic and I got like an extra 2 hours of work done every day. And I just started learning Google Apps Script because I knew that Excel VBA existed. So I knew, oh, there's a Google version. Sorry if this sneeze. Oh my God.
God bless.
Yeah. So then I just started chipping away at like figuring out thank you. Google Apps Script. And it took me about 2 weeks, about 2 hours every single day of Googling this kind of thing. And I wrote my first script that worked and did exactly what I wanted it to do. And I showed it to my boss and they were like, oh my God, we need to use this today. And then 2 months later, I got a promotion. And then like within 2 years, I was like director of digital operations. And literally the entire company was running on Google Sheets, Google Apps Script. And I was literally every single day Googling and figuring it out at like, I was 1 or 2 steps ahead of everybody else. And in this position, what I had to do was literally every single day, someone had a problem. I went and figured out the solution, and then turned around and showed them how to do it. Like either use an app script or use a feature in Google Sheets, or I made a new sheet for them. It was very, very fast, very iterative, and it was very like open-ended. Like
Right.
if there was a solution, we can use it. If there's no solution, then we're just gonna do something else.
Right.
So it was a really weird environment too, because it was very fast-paced, Hollywood, plus sort of startup-y kind of thing. And we were using Google Sheets, which always felt weird. But
Yeah.
after like 4 or 5 years, I made some pretty incredible, pretty much like web apps inside of Google Sheets, and the entire production, from licensing content to producing content to shooting scripts to broadcasting on networks. And then we ended up building 4 television networks in about 4
Wow.
years, just on Google Sheets.
Wow, that's amazing, and that just sounds like you'll need a complex website or web application or a development team to actually pull that kind of work off.
Yep.
But so you made all of this in Google Apps Script and Google Sheets. At what point did you think that I can actually do this for more for people outside my startup and actually turn it into a side hustle or a business or something like
Yeah,
that?
so there was a huge gap. It feels like a lifetime difference, but
Yeah.
I left that job. I had already been working remotely, already traveling. But then in December 2018, I finally like left the job, and I thought my mission actually for like 10 years was to learn to code and to create web apps, like
Yeah.
SaaS products. That's what
Exactly.
I always wanted to do. But life got in the way, I guess. Um, so
Yes.
in like December 2018, I quit, and I had already been working on creating a newsletter that was giving me enough money to live day to day in like Southeast Asia. And then I had a couple of like side projects going on that were making sure that I was getting more money. And
Right.
I wanted to just take a lot of time and focus and energy and learn to code and build something. So I ended up building something, took about $5,000. I hired a designer. I did hire a developer. And then like that went to absolute crap because nobody paid for it and I didn't charge for it. So 6 months later, I was like, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
And then I started on another SaaS with a co-founder. So thinking, okay, maybe I'm not really set up like myself to lead a team, but with like a partner, I probably could. I'll try that. And we worked together for like 9 months or so. We ended up
Yeah.
building a product in 2019. Well, I guess in end of 2019, we started on a product. But that ended up not going anywhere either. Um, but I sold my newsletter in 2020.
Yeah.
And what happened was actually my co-founder at the time was the one who said, your Google Sheets look so different. I created a domain grader to we had to just pick out a name for our company and find the domain. So I created a little like not like a voting, but like we picked out all of the things we thought were important, like length, the word sound of the word, if the
Okay.
.com is available, how many, the length of the amount of characters, and I put that all
Yeah.
on a sheet. And he was like, "This is crazy! Like you over engineered this." I was like, "I just did this yesterday. Like I didn't." He's like, "How did you do all of this?" Um, and so it was like in 2020, lockdown happened.
Yeah.
Um, and the second thing that caused me to actually like physically make better sheets and try to do something in the Google Sheets realm was I read TNW article, do you know the Next Web?
Yeah, the next web. Yes, of course.
They had an article which taught, like, I think the headline was like the most useless Google Sheets formula. And I read it and it was about the transpose formula. And I was just so angry. I was like, I can't believe this is the most useless because I've used it so many times. I know 10 different uses for this formula. And the article was just like so useless
Yeah.
itself. And I was like, God, if people just knew how useful this formula was, this article wouldn't exist and like people would be better off. Like, oh, like there is not this was in April 2020. There was not a single resource that you could find creative uses of Google Sheets formulas or Google
Right.
Sheets. And I was like,
Right.
I do that. Like,
Sure.
I didn't realize how easy it was for me beyond like other people. Like, I was the one who created all of those like different products within Google Sheets. I created AppScript. I used like every feature possible. I even ended up, there's two things that a lot of people use in Google Sheets. One is the filter function, and then the other one is query formula.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
use those. I hate
Wow.
using those because they're too complicated. And it's like such a steep learning curve. So I have like developed other things to do to get the same results.
Wow.
And I was like, oh yeah, I guess there's no way to like learn that except just like Googling every day and just trying a bunch of stuff. So like, I wonder if I could create a resource for people where instead of learning the thing, like you have a problem, get it solved, you could
Yeah.
see many different solutions to something or as many uses
Yeah.
of one thing.
Yeah.
And that's where BetterSheets, that was the initial seed and the initial idea
Right.
of
Right.
BetterSheets.
Right. Fantastic. It becomes like a very niche skill that you have, right? That once you've done so much of Googling and built so many different things using one tool, it's all about like becoming like the number one in the world at something. And
Sort of.
yeah.
I mean, I also did a couple things that probably would stop other people in their tracks. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't have a course. Like, Better Sheets itself isn't really a course. Like, it was sold
Yes.
sort of as a course originally, but that was the only way to describe it. I call it is like a non-linear course where you get a bunch of videos and you can watch those videos in any particular order you want.
Yeah.
And that is very hard to do right now. In fact, like it's almost impossible. I looked at many different LMSs, learning management software. I looked at Teachable. I mean, I've used Gumroad myself.
Yeah.
I looked at different platforms and every single Udemy, Skillshare, Masterclass, they all have a certain set of videos that go in a
Yes.
particular order and go from A to B.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I was like, I don't think that's really what I want to do. And it felt more like a bug at the time. It felt like, the thing I want to do doesn't really fit anywhere. So I ended up just making a Loom folder and a Gumroad sales page and saying, and then I also, again, this might stop other people from doing it. They might think, oh, let me just charge, $40 or $10 a month or $40 a month or $10 a month. And what I did is I did one payment. It was also during the pandemic. So this became a really good thing. It was a bad thing that turned into a good thing is I didn't want to charge people consistently, like all the time.
Yeah, recurring. You didn't want to have the recurring cost to people. Yeah.
Yeah, pay once and you never pay again. I had one model based on that. It was MakerPad had done that already. And I had seen them be very successful and they kept raising their prices as like their platform and their content got more built up. So I had already seen that model work and I just did that. But I also read a really interesting pricing article about this. Exactly at that moment, it was a recession, or at least we thought it was going to be a recession. And so I read about recession pricing and they said, don't SaaS pricing won't work because people will do the math. Even if it's $5 a month, they'll say, oh, that's $60 a year. So it's like, make the pricing in an inconsistent world, make the pricing stable and consistent. You see the price, that's what you pay. so much SaaS pricing, so many courses, so many pricing tables are just so confusing. One price, one time, never pay again.
Fantastic. No, love it. That's just such a cool insight. Right, and it's so much less mental effort on the consumer side, on the user side, that you just have to think once, and if you like the product, you buy it. And that's how like traditional businesses have worked, right? It's just been like the SaaS revolution has like trained us to think in terms of recurring revenue and subscription pricing. But traditionally, businesses before the internet were all like this, right? You just pay once and you buy the thing. So like just backing up a little, right? Who was the first person, or how did you make your first dollar? Through BetterSheets, or how when did you make your significant revenue that you realized that this is something that I could actually do and make a business out
I
of it?
still don't know if I can do it. I don't know. I started April 3rd, 2020.
Yeah.
The whole point of it was to launch something because I was working on the SaaS product and we just weren't launching. It was taking a long time to build. And I was like, I don't think this should take a long time to build. So I and I only wanted a side project at that time. I wanted something that I could asynchronously add value incrementally at any moment in time. I
Yes.
could take a month off, 2 months off, 6 months off, and the asset wouldn't lose value. So many SaaS products, unless you keep updating it, the value actually keeps going down.
Yes.
But
Yes.
a library will never decrease in, like, it's sort of an info product, but many info products are sort of built once and then never updated again. I wanted to be able to update this incrementally to keep the value higher.
Right.
So it wouldn't so I wouldn't like be like, oh, it's $100 today, and then in 2 years, oh, you can buy it for $1. Like, I didn't really want to do that.
Yes.
So
Right.
I built it as a side project. I built it
Yeah.
to be asynchronous in April. I think I got the idea on a Friday and I launched 24 hours later, and I didn't get a sale until the next Monday. And it was once that Carlos bought it.
Yeah.
And he did the thing that I think if anyone else gets a customer like this, you'll never stop working on it. Basically, it was only 8 videos, 4 of which were free and 4 were behind a paywall.
Right.
He bought it for $30. It was $30 at the time.
Right.
Lifetime access, you'll get forever.
Yeah.
He watched 4 videos, and then he emailed me and he said, here's the sheet that I was using, and now here's the sheet. He showed me A and
wow.
B.
Wow.
And I was just like, oh, it worked. Oh, like, that's
amazing.
it. We're done. Like,
yes.
I can't believe this is working. And it was amazing. I mean, I'll never forget that, right? And if you have a first customer like that, you'll never stop working on that thing. Like, that single event has kept me going. But then, you were asking about money and like when was there an inflection point?
Yes.
And it was not until a month later, I had like, I think 7 sales in the month of April, but like 30 days later, I had something like 13 sales, which is like $300.
Yeah.
Which for some people are like, oh my God, that's like, I will continue working on this full time forever. But for me, I was just like, I'd rather be making a SaaS product. I'd rather be launching this other thing. That's great. Then I applied to be on AppSumo Marketplace. At the time, it didn't exist. The marketplace side didn't exist, only the AppSumo Select. Ended up getting that. Out of 700 applicants, BetterSheets got the first slot. And I think in the first week on AppSumo, it sold like 100. It was $19. For some reason, I made a deal down from $30 to $19.
Yeah.
And I think something like 100 sales within the first week and like 1,000 sales within the first like couple or 3 months.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, people like this. And something else happened. And this is very strange. for like anyone, and I don't know why I clued in on this, but
Yeah.
every single member who joined and then asked a question, I would answer with a video, and that became another video in the library. So
Yes.
every new customer was actually like more content and more
Yes.
value.
Yes.
So I made a pact with myself, and also publicly I said, I'm going to make 100. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to make 100 videos. I know at least this thing is going to have 100 videos. And I think I got there
Yes.
within like 3 to 6 months. Now there's over 200. There's 220 videos
Right.
that are available for all members.
Yeah.
But in actuality, I think I've made like almost 1,000 videos, because I sort of started doing this where I would just answer, like someone would ask a question and I'd be like, I don't know how to make this a video for everyone, but let me just answer your question right now. And I made like a short 2 to 3 minute video and sent
Yeah.
it to them.
Yeah.
So I have like
Yeah.
500 or more videos that only one person saw each of them. And then there's like 220 that all members get.
That's customer service, right? That you're just making custom videos for everyone, and I'm sure like that's why they love it. And so like Abhilash has an interesting question that because he's asking, Sheets is generally popular. Is it easy for you to attract audience for BetterSheets, or you have to do a lot of marketing to
It's
get
not
people
easy
in?
at all. I mean,
Okay.
the number one way that people learn Google Sheets is the way that I did it, which is just Google for the
Google.
question.
Yes.
Like you have a
Yes.
problem and you're just gonna Google for the question, and there really is no specific need to do more with Google Sheets. Like that's what BetterSheets can do for you, is like give you more ideas, but like nobody ever wants more ideas. They want their problem solved, they want to make more money,
Yeah.
they want to save
Yeah.
more time, they want to go see their wife more, they want to spend more time with their kids. Like nobody wants to spend more time in Google Sheets. So
Yes.
the positioning and the marketing is very difficult for like if we're just saying a Google Sheets user. But there are, out of 1.5 billion Google Sheets users, there's even a small niche within that is going to be big. It's going to be thousands, tens of
Sure.
thousands, 100,000 people are going to people who sell Google Sheet templates. So
Yes.
I started helping more people sell their templates or create templates for their business, or like there's a lot of other edge cases that in a normal niche, that an edge case is a small thing, but because there's
Right.
1.5 billion people, then an edge case is going to have a few thousand in it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's how the size of Google Sheets helps there.
Yeah.
But the actual attracting an audience is not necessarily easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, how did you market it in that sense? That did you use ads, or like even before going to AppSumo? Right? We'll get into AppSumo in a bit, but before going to AppSumo, you said you got 15 sales. Was that through ads or through your Twitter or
Yeah,
through your email?
I was running a newsletter at the time, but I
Yeah.
didn't have an audience for Google. I didn't build an audience for Google
Yeah.
Sheets. I think I had like
Yeah.
10,000 followers on Twitter, but those were like
Yeah.
from an account that I like I did travel stuff. Like I had a
Okay.
different account on Twitter that had 100,000 followers, like from 2014 to 2017,
Wow.
and that got banned. And then the account that I have now is like my personal account that people found, and I just so happen to have 10,000 followers that are inactive. Like they were active like on Twitter in 2013, not
Right.
in 2020. So like
Right.
people will look at me and they'll be like, "Oh, you built an audience and then sold Google."
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
cared about Google Sheets. Nobody cared about me and Google Sheets. I had to bust my ass. So yeah, like I posted on my newsletter it was about influencer marketing. It wasn't about,
Right.
I just ran it. So I just wrote a little note saying I started this thing. I still remember her, Maria. Maria was someone who bought some product I made like a couple of years before, and she bought BetterSheets. She was one of those like 7 first people.
Right.
Thank you, Maria. Carlos, Maria, I remember their
Yeah.
name.
Awesome. Awesome.
So like I post on LinkedIn again, like I had like 10,000, no, 17,000 or something connections
Wow.
on LinkedIn, but it was all for influencer marketing. I ran a newsletter about something completely different than Google Sheets. Quite literally 7 sales like within the first few weeks. Well, it was one sale on Monday, and then it was not until the Friday the next week. So the second sale didn't come in that week, and the next week didn't come in. It was the next
Yeah.
Friday. It
Yeah.
was like 2 weeks
Yeah.
of like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm only gonna have
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I made $30. I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
we're done. And then it was Maria, and then like I think in one day, like 5 people bought it.
Wow. 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 So
Oh,
so
and yeah, so
let's
the marketing was all AppSumo. I've done so many
yeah.
things with AppSumo. Sumo had an existing marketplace, existing
Yeah.
buyers, customers who are purchase intent. They're looking to buy. They're looking to make
Yes.
their
Yes.
their
Yes.
business better.
Yes.
I wrote a
Yeah.
blog for them. They wrote a blog and featured me. I made a free templates that has like now been downloaded like 37,000 times. I only have like
Wow.
3,000 members, so you can see like the percentages
Yes.
from free
Yes.
to paid
Yes.
don't
Yes.
really go well.
That,
Um,
yeah, that's okay, but so let's talk about AppSumo a bit, right? You list them, but like hundreds of products get listed on the AppSumo marketplace. Do you have like a special deal for AppSumo? Do you have like direct partnerships with them, or like a direct connection
no,
with
I'm
them
list-
that helps you like get boosted in the marketplace or something like that?
no, I'm
How do
listed
they?
just like everyone else. You can literally, if you have
Yeah,
a product, you can list it on AppSumo today,
yeah, yeah,
and they have the same. So what I'm about to say has been the same for the last 2 years, and
yeah.
every single person has had the exact same opportunity. I'm not sure how much longer it will be. I do know that what I'm about to say has been held true for the last 2 years.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
so when I got 5 reviews,
Yeah,
I think it was 5 reviews of 4 stars or 4 tacos or more, they
yeah.
then like promoted me to more people. So they didn't promote me at
Oh,
all in any way, shape, or form until I got 5 taco reviews. Then I
okay,
got 10 reviews of
okay.
4 tacos or more. Then they promoted me more. Then I got like 20 or 25, and then they promoted me more. So as long as the product is getting reviewed
Yeah.
positively, they will keep promoting you to more and more parts of their members.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I also know that AppSumo also runs like retargeting ads on Facebook and Instagram. So once you view a product, you start to see, and that's like they don't charge the creator for it. They run
Right.
those ads themselves. Do you also like have a separate deal for AppSumo that you sell cheaper on the platform? Because I've heard people getting direction from AppSumo that you should be charging less when you launch here, or you should be giving away a
That's
special
not
deal for
necessarily
AppSumo
true.
customers. Okay.
I mean, AppSumo customers are looking for a deal.
Yes. Yes.
So as much as you can give them a deal, you
Yeah.
can. It's not a prerequisite though. It affects people who are looking for a deal.
Right.
So
Right.
there's so many ways to like, I don't want to say game it, but like if you don't want to give a deal, then I don't know why you would be on AppSumo. Like
Sure. Sure.
it's not a market, it's a marketplace of people who want to buy products and they're looking for a deal.
Yes.
That might not match with what you want to do in marketing. And there's only, I think, 3 million people on their
Yeah. Exactly.
list out of one, like for me, for 1.5 billion Google Sheet users. That's a very small amount.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But what that means is it could be the first 1,000 customers.
Right.
It could be the
Right.
first
Right.
5,000 customers. You could sell a lifetime deal for $20, get
Yes.
$14 of that
Right.
because you're gonna
Right.
get like 70%. But
Yeah.
if you sell 1,000, that's $14,000 that you have now that you didn't have before. It could be like
Exactly.
a very quick little angel round.
Yeah.
and now you have 1,000 users. Like, who
Yes.
doesn't want 1,000 users? And like,
Yes.
I mean, I build SaaS as well. I have a Heroku app that I
Yeah.
pay like $30 a month for now. Like, I
Right.
think out of $14,000, I can afford $30 a
For sure.
month to run that for the next 5 years. I think I can
Yes.
earmark a bit of that and make sure that that app keeps running for like 5 years or so.
Sure, sure, sure. No, that's fast. That's the benefit of marketplaces, right? Otherwise, these days the trend is, or the advice is, that build an audience, then build a business, and then like sell your products to your own audience.
Yeah, and I think
Which
that's terrible advice.
yeah, exactly. That's so hard, and it can be. I've seen people do really well on platforms like Udemy, on Skillshare, on Amazon, as well, and you have done exceptionally well at AppSumo. So again, this taking Pratik's question. Do you organically grow on AppSumo, or did you try to bring your own traffic to AppSumo? Where do
Yeah,
you
both. I mean,
direct your
AppSumo
traffic?
has traffic, and I also try to
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to make sales, right? I'm gonna
Yes.
make 70% of the sales. So if I spend, like right now it's $109, I'm gonna make
Yeah.
70% of that. Like, that's around what, $70.
Yeah.
If I can spend $69 to get a sale, I'm profitable. All right,
Exactly.
yeah, I made
Exactly.
$1, but like, it's $1 that more than I had before.
Yes, exactly. So the pricing then brings me to something very interesting that you said before, is to charge more, right? And this I've read elsewhere as well, that especially when it comes to advertising, eventually everybody will have to run ads for their products, and the
Not
more
necessarily.
you're able to the more you're able to spend on acquiring a customer, ultimately that is the person who wins out eventually. Right.
Sure, I don't know how
Uh,
true that is, but
yeah, because you're able to. I know people who are charging $5 for a product will never be able to run an ad for that product, right?
I mean, you can get a free. I've done it so many times where I get free users sign up for less than $1 each. That's real easy. And if you have a product that, or a page that people come back to 100 times or 1,000 times in the next year,
Yeah,
you can monetize them in different ways. You can run AdSense, you can run Mediavine, Ezoic
yeah,
on
yeah, yeah,
page
yeah,
of
yeah,
free users.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's
Photopea
the right.
is free.
That's a content site model. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, you can
Uh,
make that money up in different ways.
yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
if you spend
Uh,
$100 on a, you know, if you spend $70 and get 100 users, and they
yeah,
come back 100 times each, you're pretty
right.
darn well off. You're gonna do well.
Right. But you've spoken about charging more. You said that people should start charging from the beginning, and you have had any you said that from personal experience. Can you just tell that story? Why do you say that people should charge more? And I think you said that you have a book where the only word is like charge more.
Not even charge
Uh,
more, just charge. I mean,
yeah,
Patio 11 and John Yongfook are better
yeah,
people who say charge more.
yeah,
I'm sort of one step even sooner, is like, just
yeah.
charge, because
Charge. Yes.
you will literally never know if somebody wants to buy your product unless you have them buy it. Like,
Yes. Yes.
there's a phrase, the customer is always right, but everybody forgets the rest of that phrase, which is the customer is always right when they buy. So they make
Yes.
the choice to purchase, they are correct. So if
Yes.
they buy your competitor, or they don't buy anything, they are making the correct choice every single time,
Right.
when they buy, or when they
Yeah.
don't buy. So, so,
Yes.
so it goes back to your earlier question, or at least a topic you and I talked about
Yeah.
earlier, which
Yeah.
is, I'm not necessarily, like, I don't really have competitors. Like, you could say I'm competing against other courses, but in
Yeah.
fact, the biggest competitor is like, oh, you can just search for your answers. So
Yes.
that's why my positioning is very unique, where, yes, many people are looking for a solution to their exact problem in Google Sheets. So I want to provide that for them. If that's going to be the reason they buy. I have many people who are like, oh yeah, you can read it in the reviews. It's like, oh yeah, I had this problem for 3 months. I couldn't figure out the answer. I couldn't Google it. I couldn't find a YouTube video about it. And then I
Yes.
asked,
Yes. Yes.
Kamphey,
Yes.
and he answered in 5 minutes. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
there is power in that. But I think a larger and bigger and better sort of point here is that I'm not competing against other courses. I'm competing against apathy. Like, that people are okay with shit sheets.
Yes.
Like, I'm
Yes.
okay with what I got. I don't need
Right.
anything more. I
Right.
don't need to
Right.
make this
Right.
better. That's what I'm
Right.
really competing against.
Right. Right. Right.
And you're
And
going to compete against that if you charge $0.
yes.
You'll
Yes.
never, ever, ever beat that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's a. Yeah. That's so true. We need to charge, and I would say like charge more. So an interesting question that came up during people who signed up was that at what point did you decide to go full time on this? Right. So you're building a SaaS. You're doing a lot of things on the side. Since the pandemic, since you started BetterSheets, at what point did you say that I'm going all in on what BetterSheets now, and this is what I do. This is who I am. Right. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, BetterSheets originally, like I said, was a side project. And I
Yeah.
really, really, really wanted to continue it as a side project.
Yeah.
Even at $19, even selling 1,000, 2,000 over the course of a few months, the cash in pocket never really, in the first year, didn't really feel like this is it. Even again, having 1,000 customers is an amazing thing, and I probably should
Yes.
have at the moment been more grateful, and I probably should have realized what I realize now sooner, but I didn't. And I think going full time on something is not a single point decision. There is no single moment when I still don't think I still don't know if it's right. It's very much like pushing over a vending machine. You're going to
Yeah.
break your back if you try to push over a vending machine in one shove. Like, you gotta
Yes.
rock it back and forth. You gotta rock
Yeah.
that full time, going full time, back and forth, and then it might stop. You might give up.
Yeah.
There is almost no business decision that is irreversible. Like,
Yes.
every single decision you make in your business, almost every single decision is
Yeah.
reversible. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so going full time for me was not a single moment. In fact, I have a tweet in October 2021. I think it's like October 1st or something, where I'm like, I'm going full time. Like I said, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going full time on BetterSheets. This is it. Nothing else matters. And then I think about 1 or 2 weeks later, I took 5 days off and built a SaaS product myself. Like, I had finally learned to code Ruby on Rails. I finished Rails
Yeah.
tutorial. I finally had the power of Ruby on Rails. And I took 5 days. I was like, I want to build something. And I built this
Yeah.
completely other thing. And I was like, wait, what am I doing? Like, so literally, like, days after saying I'm full-time on BetterSheets, I was on a completely different project. And
Right.
so, and then already all of 2021, I had been preparing and mentally getting into a mindset to take off December. So the product that I built, actually the SaaS product I built in October, I was supposed to build it in December. I was learning. I was like, okay, December 1st. I mean, sales are going to drop off. People aren't going to answer the emails after December 15th. I'm just going to take off all of December. I'm going to go build something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
built it in October. And then I was like, oh, I had mentally prepared to take off December. So like December 1st came around and I was like, I'm pretty bored. Like, I already built that thing. Should I continue working on it? And then I started talking to someone about a full-time job, and I took a full-time job in January of 2022. that lasted until like April. And I was like, I
Yeah.
don't think I'm cut out for this full-time job thing for someone else. So
Yeah.
2 years after building BetterSheets and getting 3,000 members and
Yeah.
making 100K revenue,
Yeah.
I still had I like went back to a full-time job. So like,
Yes.
oh
Yes.
my God,
Yes.
what am I doing? Like everyone on the outside would be like, why are you not working on, like, this is the thing,
Yes. Yes.
3,000
Yes.
members. And I think the moment actually was when I was like, I probably should go full time, was two things. Was the revenue went down to like 500 or less than $1,000 in like April 2022.
Yeah.
I think it was April. Might have
Yeah.
been, yeah, it was around April. And then I had already been planning, I had been paying someone, I built a new website, a new fresh start to BetterSheets, and I paid someone to help me build the rest of it because I was like, I just learned Ruby on Rails. I'm still new. I want to do some things that I don't know how to do. So I paid someone to help me. And April 3rd, 2022, we launched to only members. And then at the
Right.
end of April, I launched it publicly, and it was like #1 product of the day on Product Hunt.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is it. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm working on anything else. Like,
Yes.
okay, yeah,
Yes.
people like this. I think I had an extra like 1,500 signups that one day on Product Hunt, all
Amazing.
like free
Amazing.
members. So I was like,
Sure.
I don't like the free membership anymore. But that day I
Yes.
was like, oh, this is amazing.
Yes. Yes.
Fresh site, fresh start. Oh, 1,500 signups in a week. And then the money just rebounded, and I think
Yeah.
in
Yeah. Yeah.
May it went back up, and then July and August. Yeah, it was July and August were both $10,000 revenue months.
Crazy. Crazy.
So
So.
after going full time at the end of
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
around May.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to get into, right? That from April you had focus, and for 6 months you've been working only on BetterSheets, like you've said no to everything else, every other project. How has that helped you? Uh, how has that helped you significantly get more revenue? Like what are you spending most of your time on now that you were not able to do before when you had like different projects going on?
Yeah, it's holistic, right?
Yeah.
It's the realization that there's nothing else. Like, I think part of shiny object syndrome is something like we're insecure.
Yes.
We're insecure, like, is this it? Like, is this the local maximum or is this the global maximum? Is this the best thing I could be doing with my time right now?
Yes. Yes.
And unfortunately, like, it's such a small amount of time if you think about things like on a daily, weekly, even a monthly time period.
Yeah.
Nothing ever looks right. And so it took me 2 years to figure out, oh, I should be doing this full time. Like, there shouldn't be anything else. There's nothing else that I'm bringing joy to other people, that I feel like I'm bringing my full self to. Like, I tried many different things. I had a co-founder with a SaaS. I tried to built my own product. I had a full-time job. I had part-time jobs, freelance, consulting. I tried it all. Like,
Right.
and I failed at most or all of those things. And if I was successful, consistently successful at any other thing, I probably would have done that. I had to fail at everything else. And also, again, not a single moment. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to go full time now. It's like in October 2021, I was like, I'm going to go full time. In the first month of BetterSheets on AppSumo, I was like, damn, this is working. This is going to go on forever. And then it, peaks and then it drops off and you're like, oh, okay, I guess that was it. Like, I'll go back and work on something else now.
Yes.
But then it just like keeps coming back, and like people keep coming and people keep asking questions, and I'm like, this is pretty fun to just like pop open my laptop and answer questions about Google Sheets all day. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I could do this. So and then a week goes by and nobody asks a question. You're like, I guess I got to do something else. Like, I mean, so 2 years. So back to my point was
Yeah.
2 years was a very interesting inflection point, not
Right.
for anything else other than time. Um,
Yeah.
Also, there was a couple of other failures in my life that seem like successes. One of which is I sold my newsletter. I ran it for like two and a
Yeah.
half years, and then I sold it for 5 figures.
Yeah. Wow.
I had another project that I did for 2 years, and then I sold. I had
Yeah.
like a website that I made, and I sold it after doing it like once 1 year. So there was one moment in BetterSheets history that nobody knows about until I tell you here.
Yeah.
In like April 3rd, 2022 is when
Yeah.
I launched the new website. So it was like a couple of other tries at the website.
Right.
And I launched finally it's Ruby on Rails with user authentication, user login, tracking. Users could do so much more, search and track their progress. But it was the moment I really was like, I think then I'm done. Like I have never taken a project into its third year successfully.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
I'm in the third, this is the start of the third year of BetterSheets. Then
Yeah.
I'm like wondering, what is the third year like? Like
Yes.
I've never had a project continue throughout the whole third year. Even 2 years into my newsletter, I was like, I probably should sell this. I should probably get rid of it. Like, I'm done. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it was at this exact moment, but I do remember in my ear, I keep hearing Alex Hermosi say,
Yeah.
when it gets easy, go hard. You know, when
Uh,
you get bored, that's when
yes.
you should double down. You should do 10x more, 100x more, 1,000 times more.
Yes. Yes.
When it gets
Yes.
easy for you, go into it. Lean
Yes.
in harder.
Yes.
And I had
Yes.
never done that before. When it got easy and I got bored, I was like, go do something else.
Sure. Right. Right. Right.
And
Crazy.
I
Crazy. And
and I got to learn new skills, right? I took a course on CRO.
okay.
Oh my God, I can
Custom relationship, conversion rate optimization, or
conversion rate optimization. Yes.
right. Right.
So,
Right.
I never had a good sales page, landing page. I never had a good
Yeah.
product. I never had a good product actually.
Yeah.
Even though I built so many pages and websites and directories and newsletters and things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also what I could see with BetterSheets that I didn't see with other products and other projects that I did is that I could go and do something. I could launch something. Sorry, I had full autonomy, 100%
Nice.
autonomy. I shared nothing with anyone. I had full autonomy to build. So I didn't share with anyone and I could do it all. I can create a full product completely. And that product could live on its own, but also support the main thing. So I built Only Sheets, I built Atomic Sheets, I built Sheets.com with 4 E's. Each of these little projects, I could go, like, I was frustrated with my co-founder because we weren't launching. And so I went and launched something myself. Now, when I get frustrated with myself, I go launch something, but I do it underneath the BetterSheets banner.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I point everything to BetterSheets. So BetterSheets gets more traffic, it gets more eyes, it gets more attention. It also brings more joy to people who bought a lifetime subscription and get a new product or get a new video. It brings joy and delight and surprise and delight to them.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I love about it so much, that that there's so much focus that you have now, and whatever you're launching is it's ultimately in the BetterSheets umbrella, and I'm sure like you're benefiting a lot from that. Like these 4 projects could have been standalone projects themselves, but
they were. I thought they would be.
Yeah, but the results won't compound, I believe.
Right. And again,
Like this.
every business decision you make is not irreversible. You can reverse it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I literally, I think about a month ago, or no, like a couple of weeks ago, I had to go back on all of my product hunt pages and write buy better sheets on them. Like each product
Right.
is a new thing. It looks like a new thing, but I had to go back and write buy better sheets. I have to go through all of the pages. Like I had weird little phrases like an experiment by better sheets. I'm like, someone mentioned, they're like, oh, that doesn't sound very like good. Like that seems
Yes, it's not
bad.
very serious, or like you're not
Yeah.
serious about this.
Yeah, it doesn't seem
Uh,
serious. So I was like, so I have to
yeah.
go back and write built by better sheets. Like,
Right, right,
okay,
right.
make sure that link works, make sure that, and then like make sure there, this is something I still haven't done. And it's on my to-do list for like years now, is I have to go back to every product and make sure that there's an email that goes out and says, hey, like you bought this thing, but like also there's this whole better sheets thing. Like go
Yes,
check it out.
yes, yes, yes,
You
yes,
know,
yes.
so compounding and focusing doesn't necessarily mean you don't get to do projects. Like you can
Sure.
create stuff, you can create new things. It might mean that you focus on yourself. So someone like Jacob
Yeah,
Greenfeld, he
yeah,
makes a new website, new product, and he throws up brand new everything every single time. And I just
yes,
suggested to him, was like, okay, maybe you don't have like a studio name, like you don't have
yeah,
like a Jacob Studios, but put your name on every, they should say buy Jacob, buy Jacob, buy Jacob, and
yes,
link
yes,
to
yes,
your website.
yes,
I
yes.
mean, people even who have a great success like Tweet Hunter,
Yeah,
Tebow and Tom,
Tom,
their original idea was they have Pony Express Studios, is
Pony
a
Studio. Yes,
Pony Studios is a actual like to create many product. Their intent was to create many different products. So like
yes, yes.
again, their intent was to create many products, but one worked and they're like, let's just keep working on this.
And now they launch everything under that umbrella. Like they're still making new products every month, and they're launching on Product Hunt, but they're all
They
like somehow
but they
come back to
switched it
Tweet Hunter.
instead of their studio. It's now all of their products are now under Tweet Hunter.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
they can still do the thing they want to do, but they're focused. So like
Yes, yes, yes.
so there's a
Fascinating.
difference between like it's not a very big difference between focus and unfocused.
Yes,
It's like
yes.
a lot of branding and messaging and positioning and like just sort of a make sure there's a link to this one thing.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes, yes. Right. We are almost out of time. Right. This has been like a fascinating conversation, and especially for me, like because I'm like spraying around, throwing many products, and I had to think and reflect and bring back everything back under one umbrella somehow. Thank you so much for doing this.
yeah,
I have like one last question that I
keep going.
wanted to ask you. Right? Uh, Somebody who's starting out, so there's this explore and exploit model, right? Where you explore a bunch of things and then you figure out something's working and then you go deep into that. Somebody's just starting out on their journey, they probably have a full-time job and they're starting a side hustle. How should they go about this? And eventually, let's say they have like a 1 year period where they need to figure out a solid business and go full-time on it. How can they approach this to get the most out of the side project? How should they start
Yeah,
this?
so commonly someone will do like 12 products in 12 months. You'll
Yeah,
build
yeah, yeah,
something and then you will either abandon it or you will just like come back to it sometimes. And I think actually
yeah,
coming back to it is even more dangerous than abandoning it.
yeah,
Someone like John Youngfook who did 12
yeah.
products in 12 months, and then I think like number 6 or something
It
ended up
was
being
Banner
Banner
Bear.
Bear.
Yeah,
I asked him about that. I said, how do you come back to like a product? He's like, I don't. So focus doesn't necessarily mean you focus on one thing forever.
yes,
Focus on one thing for 30 days, make it, launch it, and then
yes.
abandon it. I mean, I abandoned Better Sheets many times,
Yeah,
many times.
yeah,
I've given it all up and been like, all right, I'll just sit here. Like it still exists. People can still buy it and buy access. And then people just kept emailing me. People kept asking me questions, and I'm like, Hi,
Yeah.
I'll answer this one. Oh yeah, this one's fun.
Right.
Also, there's like a difference. Okay, so there's one little change that I would do. I would not
Yeah.
build many products. Like I wouldn't
Yeah.
do 12. I think I've done it all also 12 things in
Yeah.
12 things in 12 months. I
Yeah.
did this in I think it was the beginning of this year, so 2022. I I flipped it a little bit and I said, I'm gonna learn 12 things in 12 months for
Nice.
BetterSheets. So like
Right.
I'll refresh an old product in 1 month. I'll launch a new product on Product Hunt for BetterSheets. I will do email. So ended up like also just like a couple months ago, I sort of fell into this, and I think it's a good thing for someone to have a framework for is do like for 30 days, do Facebook ads. For 30 days, do
Ah,
SEO. For 30 days,
yes.
write a blog post, literally one every single day
Every
for 30
day.
days.
Yes.
Make a YouTube
Yes.
video, one for every day for 30
Yeah.
days. And
Yes.
go take a course and then apply that course immediately. So I went to cxl.com. Someone suggested this to me.
Yeah.
It was like $1 for 1 week of access. And the course was a 52-hour course. And I was just like, all right,
Wow.
every single minute of every single day, I'm taking, and I didn't do anything else for 7 full days. I just watched
Amazing.
all this videos and I learned so much. And then the next week I did a member survey. They like walk through all the steps of a member survey. So I did it
Yeah.
right then and there. It's like I got no time to I have this $1 I'm spending and that's it. Canceling this. I gotta get 52 hours of watching this. So I watched everything on like 1.5 speed and like 2x speed
Right.
sometimes. And
Right.
then I went and implemented it right away. So it was like a
Right.
crash course in CRO. And now I have this amazing resource. I have like 75 answers of people literally asking them, why did you buy BetterSheets? 75 answers. People in
Wow.
their own words. What's the impact that BetterSheets had for you? I have 105 reviews. I have 75 of those responses. I have like 70 questions people asked on AppSumo.
Right.
I have hundreds and not millions. I have hundreds of emails. I have videos of people, I made for people. I can't run out of content here. I can't run out of
Right.
I
Right.
can write copy as much as I want. Um, so like if you don't have those things, right? If you don't have people asking you questions,
Yes.
open yourself up to have people ask
Yes.
you something.
Yes.
Make
Yes. Yes. Yes.
make 30 videos on YouTube about one thing and then see what comments you get.
Yes. Yes.
Go to where people are. Reddit forums. Like you can go to r/sheets. And I did this for a little while. I was like, all right, I'm just going to answer one question on this subreddit Sheets every day. I think I
Right.
did it like 2 days and I got bored. Um, Also acknowledge when you get bored. That was one thing that I never did
Mm.
before. When it gets easy, do it 10 times.
Yes.
I got into a rut of like I was tweeting a lot and I was like, I don't know if I should really be tweeting much. So I spent literally 1 month and I wrote 2,200 tweets in 1 month.
Yeah, I know. I remember
So I
that.
was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
go write 2,200 tweets about something and
Yeah.
you'll find out if you like it or not. And in
Yes.
1 month, it'll be over, right? If you can't do that, if you can't write
Yes.
2,200 tweets about something, then you can't do anything.
Yes. 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 Action is the best way to learn. Right. And that.
But it's that
that
focused action. It's like
yes.
also having that muscle of tweeting will help me in any product I have. The muscle of writing emails, writing the muscle of keyword research and writing a blog once a day for 30 days. That muscle is going to survive for years. Making one
Yes.
YouTube video every single day, the muscle of figuring out where do I get a question? What can I do? How can I produce this fast? Is it just a Loom upload? Is it make a Loom, upload a Loom, and that is it? Do
Right.
I add an
Right.
intro? Do I add an outro? Do I learn to script? Do I need to learn editing of Adobe Premiere or can I use Descript? the
Right.
video editing software.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
right at this moment, I'm gonna learn scribehow.com or scribe how. It's like a different way of doing like a step-by-step little tutorial.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm very
It's
excited about it
fascinating.
because I really, really don't want to sit down and write 800 words on how to do something in Google Sheets. So I'm like, let me just make a blog post that's like the same thing I do in videos, but it's a step by step. I'm like, do I have to take screenshots? Do I have to like screenshot, write a thing, screenshot, take thing, but
Right.
describe, go do
Right.
it,
Right.
and it'll all be there step by step.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Fascinating.
yeah, spend
Fascinating.
$1 and go to cxl.com for 7 days.
Uh,
You're
I'm
gonna learn a
going to
lot
do
in
that.
hours in 7 days.
I'm going to do that in December for sure. When everyone's off, I'm going to use a week in December to do this.
Yeah, same thing for like
Learn
Facebook
everything.
ads. Like you can spend
Yeah.
$1 a day and you can watch
Yeah.
literally 18 hours of Facebook videos on YouTube about Facebook ads. That's how I learned how to do Facebook ads. I was like, okay, I'm going to spend $14 and I'm going to spend 14 days learning how to execute. I used Canva for free. I used Photo Booth to take photos of myself. I removed
Nice.
.bg to remove the background. Canva for free.
Yeah.
I spent
Yeah.
$1 a
Yeah.
day just running Facebook ads to figure out how do I run Facebook ads. Now I have that
Right.
muscle. I got a little addicted to it and I ended up like spending $1,200 in a month. But it ramped up. Like it was like $100 the first month, and $700, then $1,200. But now I killed it. I would recommend anyone and everyone, if you ever do Facebook ads, just start with retargeting and leave it there until you get some sales.
Yes.
Don't do
Yes.
what I
Yes.
did. Don't spend $1,200.
Retargeting is very powerful with Facebook ads. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen that as well. Yes.
So spend like
And
18 hours watching Ben Heath on YouTube. He was great to watch. And I learned a lot of ads, campaign, ad set, structure,
Yes.
ad structure, and then I just made a lot of ads.
Yes. Yes.
Try a lot of
Yes.
stuff for free, right?
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
spend $1
Yeah.
a day on retargeting, Canva for free, Photo Booth on
Yes.
your laptop.
Right. Right. Right.
Sorry, through all the questions. Do you have any more questions?
Yes. I'm through. I'm through all the questions, and we will wrap this up. I think this has been a fascinating conversation. Thank you so much for doing this, Kamphey. I learned so much. I always learn from you. I remember, like, we spoke 6 months ago. You were still in your job back then,
Yeah.
but you gave me very interesting insights and advice that has really helped me. And even today, what you've told me, I'm going to go and try everything that we discussed, and probably in 6 months' time I'll come back to you.
Yeah, and I hope that
Yeah.
people have a different idea of what focus means. It might not
Yeah.
mean it might mean that you're focused on the wrong thing, but you will learn so much in 30 days if you focus on, even if it's the wrong product, but you focus on figuring out Facebook ads.
Yes.
Or you say, okay, I'm gonna do forum posting. I'm gonna figure out Reddit. Like there are 3 subreddits, people are posting 5 times a day. I'm gonna reply to every single one, and I'm gonna do that every single day for 30 days. You will learn so much, and you will increase that muscle so fast. And that's more focus, and that's better focus than saying, okay, I'm just gonna choose a product and do it.
No, yeah, exactly. Better than throwing something on the wall, right? Just picking one thing and sticking to it. In terms of and these are all transferable skills. That's the best part. That you learn it once, you can apply it everywhere. For all your
and you can
products
apply it for other people too. Consider like if you, for instance, here's a weird thing that people can do that I don't know why more people aren't doing it, but like if you, okay, say you pay $1 and you do 7 days of this class for CRO. You learn how to write copy, you learn where to do a member survey, survey of your customers, your visitors. You learn how to do that, but then you go to your product and you're like, I don't have any customer. I have 0 customers. Just find a friend and be like, hey, I just took this class. Here are the 3 things that I want to do. I write an email for you to send to you, and you will get the answers to this. It's a Google form. You'll get all the
Yeah.
answers for your product, and I just want to help you so I learn how to do this thing, right?
Yes.
You
Yes.
can
Yes.
you can find a friend that has 100
For sure.
customers.
For sure.
In my case, I
For
had
sure.
like, I think I emailed like 2,000 people and ended up with like 75 replies. So you can,
Wow.
once you take the class, you can see what percentage is. It's like 5 to 10% usually.
Right. Right. Right.
So you can do the math. Find
Yeah.
someone, cold email someone and be like, hey,
Yeah.
have you ever done a survey of your members before? I'm learning how to do this. Can I write these 3 emails for you and create this Google form for you? I just took this class. You don't have to take this class. It's 52 hours.
Yes.
And then maybe even they'll pay you. They might pay you $100. You do that 15 times in, 3 months for 15 different people. And now you can pay for the class for a year. And then you
Right.
can upskill
Right.
yourself again.
Right. Fantastic. Yeah, that makes so much sense. And that's like a focused approach to learning and applying what you learn. Right. That's amazing. That's the power of focus. Right. Uh, it's really fascinating because you told me, right, that in the last 6 months you've made the most revenue, right, with BetterSheets. You've made 100K over 2 years, but just in the last 6 months you've made 50K.
Yeah,
Right.
another 50K.
Another 50K, right? And that's what fascinates me so much, that once you know and they're doubling down on one thing, and you're giving all your attention to one thing, it can become so big, and it can become and you can apply all the lessons that you've learned in your past to that one thing only.
And you'll never get bored. I mean, in this way, I never get bored, right? Because there's
Yes.
always something else to learn. Like I'm learning
Yes.
CRO,
Yes.
I'm learning Facebook ads. Next
Yes.
up, I think I'm going to do Google ads. I'm probably going to wait till January to do Google ads.
Yeah.
I'm still building, I'm still trying to improve my site and the product. So I'm going to go back and learn a bit more Ruby on Rails. Got design, landing page design stuff to do. Shout out using Landing Folio for that. Like,
Right.
I don't necessarily have to like learn landing page design and HTML. There's tools and things for pretty cheap you can find access to that'll upskill you fast.
Yes. Right. Thank you so much. That's about it.
Pleasure talking with you.
Likewise, so good to speak to you, and we'll do this next time again, right? I'll come back, and probably sometime in 2023 I would want to check in, like how much more revenue you've made.
Oh my God. I hope I made more revenue. That's sort of the problem with non-recurring revenue. It's always scary.
No, I'm sure you'll
day.
do. No, it's not good. It's never going to happen. I'm sure you'll do much better.
Need a little bit of fear. Focus is good if you have a little bit of fear.
Nice. Interesting. That keeps the fire going, right?
Yeah. You gotta have some heat to get fire. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me, man.
Cheers, Kamphey.
Bye.
Thank you for being here.
You gonna stop
bye,
recording
guys.
now?
1 second. I'll just stop recording.
I hope